been a lot of questions, a lot of consternation about Justin Trudeau's media bailout package, a $600 million fund that is in the Budget Implementation Act that will go towards supporting Canadian journalism, so he says, and so some media organizations and associations support. But then other people, including individual journalists, members of the public, and politicians, are worried that this will somehow compromise the media, try to win favor with them, buy them out, or somewhat influence the media. Now, I share those concerns. They are very much legitimate concerns. I had a unique opportunity, though. A few days ago, I was asked to head up to the House of Commons Finance Committee to give a presentation, to give a witness testimony on what I thought about the legislation. I want to share with you some of those remarks that I gave there. Now, philosophically, in principle, I think the best relationship between government and the media is none. Not at all. And I would not be heading us down this path. But I realize that this is in the Budget Implementation Act, meaning the Liberals are going to pass it, and what they're going to be doing, conceivably, is at least amending this legislation. So I use that opportunity not to, say, make an argument up against the whole plan for the media bailout, but to talk about the biggest problems in it and the ways that they could revise it to minimize any potential damages. First of all, I made the point to them that they've done a really bad job actually talking about what's in this legislation and what the purpose of it is. Because a lot of people think, and I can't blame them for thinking this, that the $600 million is just a pot that Justin Trudeau and his friends are going to dig into and dole out 10 or 20 or $100 million here and there to whichever company they want, sort of on a whim. What it actually is they are making some changes to the tax rules to basically create a tax credit so that various different news media outlets, newspapers primarily, are able to actually file tax credits on the cost of employees. This is something that already exists in the film industry to a degree. It is not just handing out cash grants of money. However, there are some major problems with how they're doing this, and this was the substance of my remarks that I gave to the committee. And my key recommendations surrounded something called an independent journalist panel that they're setting up to determine the criteria for all of this. What is the eligibility? Who's going to be eligible? Which organizations? Why? And to what degree? Those are the big questions that people have out there right now. How they're going to determine this is they're putting together a panel of independent journalists. And I said, well, hold on a second. I would much rather be judged by 10 complete strangers than I would other people in the media. And quite frankly, I imagine other people in the media feel the same way about me. And that's fine. So we're bringing people in the industry, and they're going to set the rules of the game. I'm a little uncomfortable about this. And I'm also, of course, uncomfortable about the idea that a politician, say the Prime Minister or his cabinet ministers, would do it as well. So how should they work around all of this? Well, as I said, that's somewhat similar to the film tax credit that already exists federally and in a bunch of provinces. But the film tax credit, it's an administrative mechanism. They have these rules. They basically say you have to tick off, out of these 10 different boxes, you have to tick off at least 6 of them, and then you get your film tax credit. And you just file your paperwork into the office. It's an administrative exercise that you send in to bureaucrats. It's that simple. That's it. And I believe if they're going down the path of this media tax credit, and they definitely are, so it seems, they need to make it as administrative, as bureaucratic, as hands-off, as antiseptic as possible to avoid any sort of meddling, whether it's from other journalists who are doing a sort of jury of their peers or from people in the government. So scrap that panel, I say, and just do it as a bureaucratic instrument. Now, the other big recommendation I make, they say they're going to bring out a list of qualified Canadian journalism organizations. That's what they're calling it. And that list may even go online. I say, whoa, hold on a second. Compiling a list of people who you're putting online and basically saying these are the, government-endorsed media organizations? The optics of that are atrocious. Now, they say that I guess these are just the organizations they are deeming eligible for this tax credit, and also another change that they're bringing in for not-for-profit and charitable status. But here's the thing. You don't need to compile a list of people who are eligible for a tax credit. Any tax credit out there that we claim for our families, for ourselves when we're filing our taxes, you just tick off a little box saying, I'm claiming this credit. And you either get it or you don't. There's no list of all of us who have gotten the transit tax credit or what have you. Again, it is just a bureaucratic exercise. So that was the substance of the remarks that I made to the committee. This is really about minimizing the politicization of this. If they're going down this road, it seems like they are, and that this legislation will pass. So those were the things that I told them, the specific pinpoint issues that they've got to do to try and make sure that the damage is as small as possible.